Chapter 16, Writing an APA-style research report. This chapter is about how to write a research report using APA style. First, you need to know that APA is used by many publications in the field of education, psychology, and social sciences, but that's not the only style acceptable by a lot of journals. But however, in this chapter, we focus on APA style mainly. We start with some basic elements of writing style. First thing you need to note that a research report is not the same as creative writing. That means that you don't try to amuse or entertain or challenge or confuse or surprise your reader. That means that you have to use an impersonal style and be objective and avoid using any alliteration or rhyming words or anything to amuse or entertain your reader. Also, you should avoid colloquial expressions such as once in a blue moon or the kind of things that ordinary people talk in everyday conversations. Even some journals instruct the authors to avoid using personal pronouns such as I or we. Instead, you're supposed to use the author or this study or the present study instead of using my study or my investigation. Verb tense is also important in writing your research report. Obviously, when discussing about past events, you should use past tense. In literature review, it's recommended to use present perfect as much as you can, and of course sometimes you have to use past tense. When you're presenting your results, it's better to use past tense, and when you are doing your conclusion or discussion, you can use present tense. When you are describing a specific group of people, you got to be as specific as possible. For example, instead of Asian American or Hispanic American, you may use Korean American or Mexican American to be more specific. Also, you have to avoid biased language. For example, instead of using schizophrenics or the elderly, you gotta use people diagnosed with schizophrenia or older adults. And an important element in APA a research report is the citations. When you are referring to authors inside your text, you use their last name. Like here you have Smith and Jones plus the date of publications. If it's at the end of the sentence, you use both names in the parentheses, but if it's in the middle of the sentence, you put the last name and then you simply put the date of publication in the parentheses. And if you have more than two authors, this is how you write it. Citations 6 or more authors is a little different. Instead of listing all the names, you just write the last name of the first author and you continue with et al. And then the date of publication. If you have multiple citations for the same statement or the same sentence, you separate it by a semicolon. This table shows how to do your citation depending on how many authors you have and also where the citation appears in the text. Now we go to the literature review. The literature review has some formal and some informal rules and regulations according to the APA. First of all, you have to find articles that are closely related to your research. So instead of looking for so many unrelated studies, you focus on a few closely related studies. Quotations are okay, however, you have to use quotations sparingly, means not very often. So as a general rule, it's better to use to paraphrase rather than using direct quotes. If your direct quote is fewer than 40 words, you put them in quotation mark, and then at the end you put the page number. However, if your quotation is more than 40, you don't put it in a quotation, and you actually put them in a separate paragraph, as you see in this picture, and you indent it like about half an inch, and you put the page number at the end of the paragraph. The language that you use in your report is important. For example, depending on if your research is empirical, use different language. Now I want to show you some samples of APA STAR research report. First, we start with title page. As you see here, the title page has a running head here, and then the title of the article or the research, and then you have the author affiliation. For the title that you choose for your research, you gotta avoid unnecessary word. For example, when you say a study of women in higher education, the part A study of is actually unnecessary. So if you simply say women in higher education, it's the same as the study of women in higher education. Second thing is, the first word you use in your topic is very important and should represent the nature of your research. Another thing is that you avoid cute or catchy titles, because like I said, a research report is not a creative writing. After the title page, you have the abstract. The abstract typically includes 5 things: the statement of the problem, the participants, the methodology used, the results, and the conclusion. Of course, depending on what journal you publish, you have different limitations in the number of words that you can use in your abstract. But definitely you have to have the statement of the problem and the results and conclusions in your abstract. This is an example of an abstract. As you see here, you just type the abstract, and here there is no indent for the first line, unlike the other parts of your research.